Isn't that pretty obvious that you shouldn't put a hairdryer in water or in the shower? You would think so. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amarins, for those of you who don't know me yet. I'm a professional violinist living in London, and I thought it could be kind of fun to chat through what my day looks like traveling, because basically what my life is this kind of weird balance between being at home, doing my work from home, practicing, making videos for you guys, etc, doing my taxes and all that kind of fun stuff, and then also being on the road and playing concerts with my string quartet. Our quartet is the Barbican Quartet, and we play, let's say, in Europe. We do sometimes also play in North America and, you know, maybe other places someday, but generally most of our work is in Europe. So I have quite a lot of these kind of travel days where I get up early in my own bed and then have to play a concert at night somewhere, either in Germany or in Italy, etc. So yeah, if you feel like joining me, we can just kind of have a look at one of my travel days and what I generally do and what it looks like. So because I live in London, I always basically have to fly, which is something that I think about, and I am, you know, of course the environment is important for me, and so the feeling that I basically always have to fly or take a train, which would take a lot longer, doesn't always sit well with me. So I do think about it, and at some point in my life I might make a change to be able to live somewhere that I could take trains a bit more easily to where I work. But for now I have to fly a lot, so my normal routine for early morning flights is that I'll take an Uber to Paddington from my house, and then take the train from there to Heathrow. I think it's the most painless way of getting to the airport, and because I've been working for a long time to get the right status with British Airways, I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. I basically fly from Heathrow or from City Airport. I'll get up, I'll take my Uber, bleary-eyed, and then get to the train. Usually it's a bit too early for a cup of coffee. Now being pregnant, I don't really drink coffee, so that at least is off the table. I've started kind of getting up a little bit earlier, like I'm talking 15 minutes, right, at home, to kind of have a cup of tea and maybe a piece of fruit or a piece of toast or something like that. And actually I've found that that makes me a lot happier than just like rushing out the door. Those extra 15 minutes are quite precious to me, but I try to go to sleep, let's say at 10 or at 9 the night before, in order to wake up kind of reasonably refreshed. I feel like my body is definitely one that works with a body clock, and whenever I get up at weird times I can feel that. Finally got out the door, and once I get to the airport I generally head to, so we're talking Terminal 5 here most of the time at Heathrow, because that's where BA fly from most of the time. And so there's two fast track securities, which is one of the major perks of being a silver member with British Airways. So I head to those. Actually, on this particular day, the fast track was so extremely packed I kept wondering if I should have just gone into the normal lane, but okay. And I get through that as quickly as possible. Generally they like to check my violin, which is super fun. They don't always let it go through the normal kind of, you know, scanning channel, so then they ask me to open it up and they kind of hack away at it with their little tapping machine. But I try to stay calm and composed and get myself to the lounge. Once I get to the BA lounge, I think there are, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 at Heathrow. Maybe one of you guys knows. So I go there, I have some breakfast. I like to have kind of fruit with yogurt, and then also a little side of kind of hash browns and maybe a pain au raisin or chocolate or something if I'm feeling adventurous. And these days, because I'm pregnant, I have to go to the toilet all the time. Good morning. Basically my tactic in the lounge, and I've definitely kind of flip-flopped a lot on this, but in general I take my violin with me whenever I go somewhere, and also my little purse. So I figure my other bag is mainly just kind of clothes, etc. And yeah, so that's my decision. I kind of use it to mark my territory and keep a little chair. It's often very busy in the lounge that I go to. early in the morning, so go to the toilet a million times, and then I fill my water bottle because they have a nice water station, etc. And yeah, I mean, that's my little routine in the lounge. I like having a cup of tea as well and just kind of settling down. Recently I've been thinking a lot about kind of ways to calm my body from the stress of flying, if that makes sense. Let me know if you have any thoughts or tips on that. I kind of try just to calm myself and take deep breaths and kind of just have a little moment not to be just doing everything at once. And then about 45 minutes before my flight, I'll leave the lounge and find my gate. Usually that's also around the time then the gate is published. What I've really liked recently, it's not at Heathrow sadly, but there was a lounge somewhere in a different country where, oh, this was in Bologna actually, coming back from this trip. So you go in and it's like, it's on the non-secure side of security. And once you're in, then there's like a separate security area and passport control for people who are from the business lounge, which I was like, oh my god, luxury. After having a bit of breakfast, I'll head to the plane. There's not much to say. I'm always extremely anxious that my violin is not gonna fit in the plane or etc. So I try to board as early as I can. The status also helps with that. So far the status is great for priority boarding, for the lounge access, and also for the priority security, so like fast track or that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm on the plane, I sit down, I kind of have my water bottle and just make myself comfortable. This is gonna be a whole new world of fun. Let's say fun. When our baby arrives and we're traveling with our baby, I think for the first 4 months we're definitely not gonna fly with the baby. There's one trip that we're gonna do with him and my husband. It's to Holland, so we're gonna take a Eurostar there, which will be already a whole fun time, I'm sure. But it'll be great to show him my other country. Yeah, which leads me to my maternity leave, which will be starting fairly soon now actually. And I think there's a thing with BA that you can like write to them and they give you, I think they extend your status or something like that. So I get on the plane, make myself comfortable. It just depends what I like to do. I like to listen to music or to like a podcast or some sort of storybook. I really like listening to audiobooks from time to time, especially if I'm tired and my eyes are tired. I just want to close my eyes and have a story and have something that I'm focusing on but not kind of doing. Anyway, get off the flight. For this trip I wasn't traveling with checked luggage. And anyway in general I try to have checked luggage as infrequently as possible. I'll generally try to kind of get on the flight with all my stuff because it is so dependent on the airport and how long it's gonna take to get my suitcase. So Joanna, our cellist, was flying from Gatwick, which is closer to her house, and so we were meant to meet in Zurich airport and take the train together. However, her plane was delayed and mine was early. In the end I decided to go by myself, mainly because I wasn't sure if she was gonna land anytime soon, and I just kind of wanted to make sure that I got there on time. Especially during my pregnancy I get just tired quicker, and I wanted to make sure that I have a time for a little break, which, spoiler alert, didn't really work out, but whatever. I got on a train after a little bit of lunch and made my way, now I have to remember, so from Zurich airport I went to Constance by train, then from Constance to Friedrichshafen is across the Bodensee, which was by ferry. So let's see, about an hour and a half to 2 hour train, then 10-minute little layover there, and that was almost not long enough to figure out how to get to that ferry. Then 45-minute ferry to Friedrichshafen, and then from Friedrichshafen a bus, which took about half an hour, but I had to also wait about half an hour for said bus to get to Tettnang, which is where our concert was. It was actually a beautiful journey, both the train and the ferry, even the bus honestly. It's this kind of apple orchard area, very beautiful. It was a gorgeous day, and I can say definitely that by that time I was pretty exhausted, even though I'd slept enough the night before, but it was just kind of relentless traveling. After all that traveling, I did get to our hotel in Tettnang. Oh, you guys, I made it to the hotel. I have about 10 minutes here to have a shower, which I just did, and not much more. And now we're gonna leave to get to the hall. So I didn't have time to practice at all, but at least I got here. This is our room, my room. Well, ours actually, the two of us. We walked to the castle where we were playing, or this kind of town hall castle type feeling, and you know, just got settled in, saw what they had kind of provided food wise and snacks wise, etc. And then we finally got to rehearsing a little bit, and Jana arrived like 2 seconds before the rehearsal. What we generally like to do is kind of play a movement to warm up and feel comfortable, and we like to play good chunks of the repertoire that we're playing at night, especially if the music is in any way new. So if we haven't played it recently, or if it's a kind of newer piece, then we'll like play through a lot of the piece, or otherwise we'll just touch little areas and make sure that we all feel comfortable with yeah, the repertoire for the concert that night. There was not very much time anywhere. I think Christoph had to do a small pre-concert talk because he's the best German speaker, being German. So we had, you know, maybe half an hour or something to kind of relax a bit and settle down, have a little snack, and I think I practiced a tiny bit. And then it was concert time. The concert was at 6, which is early, of course, for a normal concert, because it was on Sunday. It was actually a great time because it meant that we weren't just completely exhausted yet. Concert went well. It was really nice people. It was a little bit of a boomy hall maybe, especially when there were no people, but with people it was fairly okay. And I think the people enjoyed it. So then after the concert, we got to sit down for a little bit of a very German dinner, but I have this favorite meal in Germany called Maultaschen, like especially in that area. I think my favorite is when they're in broth, but these were fried, but anyway, still very, very good. And finally it was time for a little rest, or more like bedtime, until we got up again at I think 7:30 the next morning to leave for a concert in Trento. It was interesting to me on this trip because it was a very, very intense trip, and it took a lot out of me, but on this day I wasn't really feeling it. But the next 2 days I really could feel that it was really kind of overdoing it for my body. My poor little pregnant body. It's already like, what are you doing to me? The voice of my body. Yeah, it was a lot. I didn't feel super well the next 2 days, but luckily, you know, it was a short trip, and afterwards I came home and I've been kind of taking it more easy and trying to incorporate, you know, movement, like exercise. Well, here's my rule. I try to do either 10,000 steps or go swimming or do yoga most days of the week, and that serves me pretty well. There are some days where I'm just too tired, like yesterday I woke up early and I just had to have a nap, so I didn't go for my swim. I think that's acceptable. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this kind of a little bit different way of doing my vlog. I thought it would be just nice to chat with you guys and give a different view of what my travel day looks like. And if you are new to my channel and you've enjoyed this video, then please subscribe. It really helps me grow as a little tiny YouTuber. And yeah, it just makes me happy when I see a new subscription. So just say hi below if you like, or send me questions if you have any. And thank you very, very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!